Yo, I'm starting. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA show. We are back. We're doing dual format again. And I know I talked to Western about the dual format. I know he wasn't the biggest fan of it because it splits up the chat. So I want to say right off the rip, what we're going to be doing in the comments is I'm about to post the link to the horizontal. So for example, if you guys are watching right now via the vertical format, what's up, Tehran? I see you're watching via the vertical perspective. So I'm going to post the link right now in case you guys want to switch to the horizontal perspective, and you can click on that link in case you want everything to kind of be merged together. You're not a fan of this model either. So Tehran, we are going to try, we want to try it one more time just to see, especially because it's such a big event, just to give more accessibility to more people. But we can eventually get rid of it completely if people are really disliking it. But in one moment, I'm just waiting for the link. I'm going to post the link to the horizontal format, and then Tehran, you can just click on that in the chat and then swap over. So it's coming in 1 second. But anyways, we are at the top of a crazy card. Tehran says, what's up, Justin?
What's up?
And we are at the top of a crazy card. I forgot even how crazy it is because, you know, there's another fighter on the prelims that I totally forgot about. I remember when I first looked it up, but I'd forgotten. I didn't add it to the topic list. We also got Baisanger on the card. Now, if you guys don't know who Baisanger is, he is Khamzat Chimaev's boy. He's not only his boy, but he did a fight, if you guys remember, in Contender Series in August, the week of Khamzat's championship fight. Then after that Tuesday, he asked to be on UFC 319 with Khamzat. He went in, I think he fought on the prelims, and I think he got a finish in round 2. This guy is the real deal. He's undefeated. He's gonna be a huge star. Khamzat says he's an amazing talent. So this guy's on the prelims as well. And if we have a chance to talk about it, we will. It depends on the time. So real quick before we get started, and we're going to break down this whole card because it's insanity. We're going to post, here's the link right now. So Tehran, once again, if you want to switch to the horizontal, you can click on that link that I just posted in the chat, and then you can swap over to the horizontal setting as well, and everybody can join on. All right. Yeah, Malcolm Wellmaker is fighting Ewing. I keep wanting to call him Malcolm Gladmaker because of Malcolm Gladwell, the author. But yeah, some guy with the last name of Ewing. I can't remember his record, but this guy.
I have a piece of this once you're done.
Okay. Wait, no, I want to hear Justin. I want to hear Justin talk about it. Okay, what do you know about Ewing?
So I did a little research on Ewing this morning through Instagram because I've been looking for topics to talk about. I'm not excited about this matchup. This is a setup for Wellmaker to get another win. Ewing is a 35-pounder. Coming up, and he's a small 35-pounder going up to 45. He weighed in at 142.5 pounds or 143 pounds, and so that tells me that he's walking around under 145 pounds. This is a setup for Wellmaker to get an easy knockout.
I do think it's a set. I mean, I'm with you, right? Like, what, dude? Wellmaker is a star. The UFC is giving him what Ariel Helwani calls the push. They're really trying to market him. They're really trying to bring him along because they believe so strongly in him. And I do too. I listened to the whole Ariel Helwani interview, and the guy, dude, he's a superstar. He's amazing. His personality is incredible. He's a great guy. So, yeah, Wellmaker fights at 135. Yeah. Wait, but
shit! I thought Wellmaker was. I'm sorry. I thought Wellmaker was a featherweight. Jeez.
Oh yeah. No, he's 135er. But still,
scratch it. But still, even to weigh in at 143 pounds, it tells me how small this guy is. Like when I'm cutting down to 145, I want to be 160 pounds, 15 pounds over the week of. This guy's 8 pounds over, and he's coming in short notice. Man, I just don't like it.
I believe, though, that Ewing had a fight earlier this week. It was something like that.
A week ago.
Oh, okay. So maybe his weight's still low, and I don't know, something like that. It could be. But here's the thing. Wellmaker's such a star that it's kind of the situation, or a budding star, that I want to see him against anybody that I can beat at this point. I just want to see him get another right. His last 3 finishes were all right hook finish. We're going to talk about Wellmaker in a little bit, but if he can get that right hook finish, that's 4 back-to-back in the first round. That'd be insane. So anyways, we'll see about that. But yo, we got so much to talk about. And I know, Justin, you're going to have to jump off soon. So, 8-2. I thought he was 8-2. I couldn't remember. But which is good stand-up, power in his hands, has a lot of knockouts. I hope Wellmaker wins. He's a star in the making. But let's get into the main event. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, Islam versus JDM for the title. Justin broke it down, and I'm going to let Justin take over and explain who he's going for. And if you guys are Khamzat fans, you are not Khamzat fans, excuse me, Islam fans, you might be a little disappointed with Justin's pick, but yo, you got to speak your mind. So go for it.
Tell you what, man, I had a great time making this video, and honestly, I feel that I'm starting to get a routine of how to do these breakdowns, and I'm getting relatively consistent. I'm really starting to enjoy it a lot more than I first did, because when I first started making these videos, I really wasn't sure how I was going to put them together. But now I'm getting in routine, and I'm figuring out the easiest ways to find these guys' tendencies. And I tell you what, Islam obviously is an incredible fighter. He's pound for pound #1 right now. Man, and he's great all around. He has great striking. He has great kicks. He's a southpaw, but a lot of his now we look at like Bilal. I want to compare him to Bilal, and people are, and me too. I was going to say, oh, Islam and Bilal are a lot alike. Islam's just Bilal 2.0, and that was crazy. A lot of people, I got some hate for that. They're like, oh, how disrespectful. It's like, regardless of how you feel, I don't like Bilal. All right, but I'm not going to say he's a bad fighter. Like, he's still a good fighter. He's like, oh, it's so disrespectful. Oh, to say that Islam's a better version of the former UFC champion. Like, shut the fuck up, you fucking clowns. Like, you guys are stupid. So anyways, the point of my Bilal 2.0 is Bilal likes to hold guys against the fence and over under. He likes to jockey for position, and he can kind of lead to boring matches. Islam, on the other hand, is always looking to get to the legs of his opponent. So maybe he shoots in, he'll go up upper body, but he's going to reshot to get guys down. He pulls guys out. He looks for that, what a lot of people like to call a Russian handcuff or a Habib handcuff, where he's figure four in the legs, getting on top, and Islam will dictate what side of the body he goes to. So when you talk about the comparison of Bilal fighting JDM, Bilal, when I'm watching the JDM fight, like, Bilal's trying to hold him against the fence, hold his back against the fence and over under, and JDM would use his frames, his arms on his chest and his neck, on his collarbone and his shoulder, to hit him with knees, to hit him with elbows, and be able to spin off. I don't think Islam is going to take that approach. I think Islam, when he shoots in, he's going to be attacking his legs a lot more than Bilal. I think Islam's going to get JDM down early, but my question is, can he hold him down? JDM has been practicing. I said in the video, and I actually spoke wrong. I said he was practicing with Craig Jones. He wasn't practicing with Craig Jones. I believe he was practicing with Gerald Mercerch. But anyways, regardless of who it was a high-level grappler in the UFC, one of the best grapplers around, talking about not just defending the takedown of what to do, when to get up. And they actually broke down one of Islam's fights of, hey, when he does this, do this instead. I think it was against Dustin Poirier. One of the things Dustin Poirier was doing wrong. But JDM here's the thing, JDM looked incredible against Bilal, and I think he's even going to look better against Islam, because he's been preparing for the wrestling heavy defense 2 camps in a row. So if you take 2 camps, that's 16 weeks of preparation on defending takedowns, defending cage presence. Now, here's another thing. Islam is a southpaw. He doesn't go to orthodox too often, but he sets everything up off his left cross and his right hook. He has a beautiful left cross and right hook. He'll throw his left cross to dive in for the legs. He'll throw his left cross to his right hook to set up his wrestling. When you have JDM, on the other hand, JDM, although his power shot is his left hand and he has a bunch of knockouts from that left hand, he will switch to orthodox. He will switch to southpaw. He will throw kicks. I just think that his head movement is better, and something that JDM does that nobody has done, that Islam has faced, is dig to the body, and he has brutal body shots. I think I mentioned in the video, it's a lot of Islam, and I don't want to take away from Islam accomplishments, because, man, Islam is just incredible. But a lot of his wins in his title defenses were short notice changes, and I think that needs to be taken into consideration as well. JDM, this is not a short notice for him. He's had months and months of preparation, and prior to getting this match with Islam, he had months and weeks of preparation to fight Bilal Muhammad. And he's gonna have a similar preparation. So essentially, he's put in 2 training camps back to back to defend against the takedown. And I just really think that's gonna pay. And his body shots, I really think, are gonna hurt Islam, because Islam is so good at what he does. There's no trick. It's not like he's going to come in and there's not going to be tricks. He's going to do the same thing he does, because he's so, just like Habib. He's going to come in and try to get the takedown, strike to set up his wrestling, which he's incredible at. He's the best in the world at it. But man, with all the preparation JDM has, and he's dotting all his I's, he's crossing all his T's, as I like to say, I see JDM possibly putting. I have JDM winning by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he puts him away in the 4th or 5th round.
Oh my God. Okay, so here's what I gotta say in terms of what you just said, because it's very convincing, and I don't have a rebuttal because obviously your expert opinion is substantially like 100 times stronger than anything I would say. So I'm just sad to hear it because I am definitely rooting for Islam. I think it would be a cooler story, and I think it would just be such a historic night if he can go up and get double champ status. Obviously, if you're a JDM fan and JDM pulls it off, that's historic in and of itself for Australia. A champ to go out and beat Islam, who's widely considered to be one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. But God, I just really want Islam to win because it sets up so many more interesting super fights. The last thing I'll say is if Islam wins, I know people are talking about Ilia Topuria going up, but even if that doesn't happen, even if Ilia doesn't go up, the matchups at welterweight are crazy. Like, I love the whole scenario of Islam winning because I do feel like he pretty much fought everybody with the exception of Arman Sarukian. But wait a minute, he actually has fought Arman. Granted, it was a while ago, but he's even beaten Arman. He's effectively beaten everybody at lightweight. So him now moving up to welterweight, if he wins, God, there's like 7 crazy matchups that we would just be like, I don't know how long Islam plans to stick around, but imagine we could have Islam against, I know people don't like Kamaru Usman getting a title shot, but we could have fine. Let's say Islam versus Morales, Islam versus Ian Gary, Islam versus Leon Edwards if he climbs back to the top. Like Islam, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so interesting to have all these fresh matchups for Islam. So that's how I hope it goes. Last question for you, Justin. One other thing that other people have been pointing out, the difference between Bilal and Islam. I wonder if you saw this in the tape that you watched, but also that Islam doesn't always just go with traditional double leg, single leg, but he'll also incorporate a lot of hip tosses and like essentially judo throws and judo tosses to get guys to the ground. Do you think that's going to be a significant difference compared to Bilal versus JDM?
No, I think judo doesn't work. And especially when you have a heavy hip guy like this, I think judo is, I mean, I'm trying to think I watched maybe 4 different fights of Islam, and I can't think of any fight that was like, oh my God, he hit this great judo throw. Maybe some trips. That's one thing that now judo, yeah, I guess you consider trips too, but when we talk about like hip throws or headlock throws, like I just think they're so low percentage. I was just talking to my high school, as you guys know, I coach high school, that's where I'm at right now, and kids are talking about, oh, I want to learn a hip toss. I'm like, dude, those moves are trash. I haven't been hitting a headlock or a hip toss and geez, in competition, probably since I was in middle school, and in practice, I can't even remember the last time. So, when you talk about judo throws, I think they're trash. Maybe some foot sweeps. I think that could maybe pay off a little bit more. But again, JDM is preparing for everything. He's not taking any shortcuts in his preparation, and I really think that he's going to shine through in his preparation. He's going to show. And you know what? We make these videos for fun, guys. Like, my word is not gold. I enjoy doing these videos. So when people are like, oh my God, you're an idiot. It's like, it's like, I get so much hate. And even when he's one of these guys, I'm like, bro, like, why are you hating on me? Like, you have 19 subs. Like, why are you hating? Like, I might be wrong. I might be right. Like, let's just have fun with this.
Look, I 100% agree. And I love that you're diving in and watching tape. These are things that I can't do. You know what I mean? I just don't have the eye for it. I don't have the expertise, but Justin does. By the way, I know you're saying people give you a lot of hate. I'm just looking up the stats. You got 100% like ratio on your prediction video. So as much as people are complaining in the comments, hey, I think people overall are enjoying it. No, it's a great pick. And yeah, of course, you could be right, you could be wrong, but that's the fun of it. I really like your Leon Edwards pick, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. We got so much to get through, so we're going to keep trucking because I know Justin is going to have to jump off in about 16 minutes. So let's keep going down the line. Another fight that you broke down. Give it to us. Let's go.
Man, this fight comes down to watching Valentina with Alexa Grasso. And there's a 3-fight, period where they went in there, and I was really that's like Valentina is one of my favorites. She fought my teammate Jessica Eye. She had that brutal left high kick knockout. Now, something that I mentioned to you, but I forgot to mention in the video is Rose Namajunas also knocked Weili Zhang out with a left high kick. Now, understand it was a different style of high kick. Rose Namajunas is an orthodox fighter. She threw a switch kick, like a snappy Taekwondo style kick, where you have Valentina, who's going to be in a southpaw stance. She's going to be throwing that head kick, so it's going to be a little bit further away. I think Zhang's going to be able to react to it a little better, but I think Valentina is going to come out early, especially in the first round. She's going to try to land that high head kick out there, or maybe she'll save it for later. But I definitely think she's going to use that left high kick, seeing that Rose Namajunas was able to sneak it in for a high kick. But we go into Alexa Grasso breakdown. Valentina, we'll talk about the first fight. I think Grasso looked better than Valentina, which I haven't really been able to say. Prior to that, I think Valentina's Muay Thai is some of the best in the division. I do believe that she is the 125-pound GOAT for the women's. But I do think she's slowing down a little bit. Alexa Grasso kind of showed that in the first fight. Now you go into their second fight. Obviously, it went to a draw. I can't remember what the point was deducted for, but something went to a draw. Then you go into the third fight, and Valentina kind of almost abandons her striking. And what that tells me is that she probably realized that, hey, look, I'm not as fast as Alexa Grasso. Let's change the game plan and let's get wrestling heavy. If you guys remember one of the boringest fights you could ever watch, Valentina getting her belt back against Alexa Grasso, she looked a little bit better against Manin. I know I'm pronouncing that name wrong, but I still think that she's losing a little bit of speed. She's been in the UFC since 2015. She's fought a who's who. She's 37 years old. You know, I think that she's going to, although she has the striking credentials, I just don't think that she wants to be in these wars like she used to, because she's been in some knockdown, drag 'em out fights. Now, you look at someone like Zhang, who has been, in my opinion, between her and Joanna, that was arguably the best women's fight I have ever seen. And if you haven't seen the split decision, it's one of the best women's fights you could ever see. She goes against Rose Namajunas, loses twice in a row. I think the first one was a fluke head kick. The second one was a bad split decision. Then she gets back in the winner's circle by knocking Joanna out with a spinning back fist. I just think Zhang is going to be more hungry, guys, and I think this fight's going to come down to who wants it more. And when I say who wants it more, I'm not saying Valentina doesn't want to win. Let's throw that right out. Of course she wants to win. Of course she wants to maintain her championship status. But when I saw Valentina fight Alexa Grasso, you know, in the wrestling exchange, she seemed like she was giving up in the later rounds. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, she wasn't gassing, and maybe she wasn't. But my personal opinion, like, getting your back taken the way she got her back taken, and then getting choked out in a rear naked choke, like, so many things went wrong that she could have done better to avoid that position, avoid that situation. And it tells me that she either was breaking mentally or she was breaking physically, or maybe a little bit of both. And I haven't seen Zhang do that yet. I've seen Zhang get punched. I've seen her get kicked. And besides getting knocked out, I haven't seen her physically or mentally break yet. And I think when the heat starts to rise in the kitchen, Zhang's going to be the chef to answer the call. And I think that she's going to apply a lot of pressure to Valentina. I think Valentina, she might start this fight off with some striking. I think Zhang's going to come right at her, throw the kitchen sink at her. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Yes. Yes. I coach. I'm the high school wrestling coach. I'm here. I have my practice at 2. But Zhang is going to be applying the pressure. I think she's going to defend her takedowns early in the fight. And I just got to show this guy my ID real quick. I think. Yep. No worries. No worries. Okay. Appreciate you. Thank you. You too. I think Zhang's going to deal with the adversity better than Valentina. I think she's going to apply the pressure. I think once Valentina starts losing the striking exchanges, she's going to start shooting, and I think Zhang's going to be able to defend her takedowns. Now, people are like, oh, there's no way. Like, she took Alexa Grasso down easily. Listen, Zhang fought my teammate, Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana is arguably the most decorated female wrestler I've ever worked with, and Zhang just neutralized her wrestling and it almost looked effortless. And Tatiana is an incredible, not just an incredible MMA fighter, but an incredible wrestler coming into this fight on a great win streak. And Zhang basically had her way with her. And I could see her do the same thing to Valentina.
And by the way, Justin, your connection just got a little wonky. So maybe if you could go back to where you were before, because it was a little bit clear. But let me respond to everything that you.
I'm back.
Okay, yeah, it's a little choppy. Hopefully it comes back. But let me respond real quick to everything you said. First of all, I love the analysis here, and I'm happy that you made this pick, because I'm actually picking Zhang. I'm rooting for Weili Zhang for a number of reasons. But I like everything you said. It makes a ton of sense, and I believe that sounds very logical and that you are correct. Now, the other thing that just from a fan perspective, why I love this, dude, how can you not like Weili Zhang? Her positivity, her demeanor, the way she carries herself is so awesome. And on top of that, I listened to the embedded episodes, and the coaches talked about Weili Zhang, and they said, man, she is just a coach's dream. And you see that, like, they showed some of her training. She is so intense. I'm sure Valentina's intense too, but you can see Weili works out in a way that is unfamiliar to me. Like, she is just explosive and crazy, high energy and intense. And I like that she approaches the game so seriously, and now she has a shot to move up. The last thing I'll say too, which is great, is if she does win, again, a whole set of fresh matchups. Imagine she can go through and fight all these guys. She could fight Alexa Grasso. She could fight Manon Fiorot, if I'm pronouncing that right. She's got, it's very, very interesting to me. And like I said, I love her personality. I love the way that she carries herself. I think she's a great role model. So I hope you're right. And I think it makes a lot of sense. So we shall see. All right, moving on. We got some other matchups.
Hold on. One more piece. One more piece. And think about it. Think about Valentina. All right. What does she have to gain by winning this fight? She's not gaining anything. All she's doing is maintaining. And when you're maintaining compared to gaining, there's so much more motivation when you're trying to gain something than when you're trying to maintain something. And I'm speaking from experience. Here's an interesting stat about myself. I've had, between my amateur career and my pro career, I think I've had like 3 pro belts, 2 or 3 professional belts, regional shows, nothing serious, not obviously UFC belts or anything, but
sure.
2 or 3 pro belts and 7 amateur belts. I have never once successfully defended a belt at any way. Actually, that's not true. I have 1 defense out of like 9 belts. And I remember my preparation for training. It's like, man, I'm already, like, I've already proved this. It was just, my motivation was so much less than, hey, I want to be the champ. I want to become the champ, compared to, okay, I'm the champ. And even if I win this fight, I'm still just the champ. And not to mention, a lot of people are counting Zhang out. And I just don't, man, I just think the motivation for Zhang is just going to be so much more. And she's a year younger.
She does have that extra year, and I wonder how significant that is. I don't know how it works in as well for women compared to men in terms of the prime. If it's similar, if it's vastly different, I don't know. But all I can say is Zhang Weili looks unbelievable. Cannot wait for this matchup. We shall see how it goes down. Matthew says, "What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show." Matthew Tehran also says the second biggest fight for Islam at 170, if he gets past JDM, is Shavkat. Yes and no. I mean, Shavkat, the only reason why I say maybe not, dude, Shavkat's been out for so long now. Maybe it's only been a year, I guess, but it feels like forever. We haven't heard anything about him. He's got that injury. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. But even if Shavkat doesn't come back anytime soon, dude, wouldn't you want to see him go against Ian Gary? Wouldn't you want to see him fight? Like, I mean, Sean Brady would be cool. Morales would be, all these guys would be so fascinating. So I think there's so much to gain and so much to explore in the welterweight division. All right, we're going to skip over Brady versus Morales because you didn't break down that fight. I'll talk about it later when you bounce. Let's talk about Prates versus Edwards. Let's hear Justin's take on this. It's a very smart take, in my opinion.
All right, so we have Prates. You know, here's something I didn't know about Prates until I did this breakdown. Is he essentially was a 500 fighter for a very, very long time. He almost was, I think he was like 5-4 or 7-6 at one point in his career before he went on this long streak. So talk about being able to turn a career around. He goes from being a 500 fighter, even way through his career.
Hey, Justin, Justin, pause. I'm going to jump in. Can you relocate the signal's really bad? So let me just talk a little bit about this fight. And then once I see it kind of get clear again, I'll let you jump in. But let me explain a little bit about what Justin's talking about right now, because he actually already made a breakdown video. And as a result of that, I actually put money on Leon Edwards. I put a small bet at plus 170. So one of the things that, and I'm sure Justin will jump in a moment talking about Prates' history, but the thing about it is that, and this is what Justin told me, and it makes a lot of sense. Edwards is a mixed martial artist. He is very well-rounded. He was one of the first people to ever take Kamaru Usman down. He also, I think he's got some takedowns on Colby Covington as well, which is crazy. So the guy is a very well-rounded game, and he's not afraid to use all his skill sets. Carlos Prates, I think Leon Edwards has the grappling advantage, and I think generally what Justin is saying, and one of the things why he believes Edwards is going to get the job done, which is funny that Edwards is the underdog, but he's going to get the job done because he's going to mix it up. He's going to slow Carlos Prates down with the wrestling, drain him, maybe deplete him of some of that knockout ability, similar to what Ian Gary did, and get the finish. But Justin, let me turn it back over to you. It's looking good now. Take it away.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, guys. But anyways, yeah. Starting off his career 500. Now you look at Prates. He's very dynamic. He's explosive. He's fast. He likes to spin. He's exciting. All right. Yeah. Looking at, you know what? I had this fucking idiot post on the video. He's like, I don't know if he called me dumb or not, but he's like, Bilal took Leon down easily. And it's like, Oh, the former champion that's
Yeah,
known for his wrestling and his grind took Leon
right.
Edwards down easily. Wow, dude. Great. That's like, I don't know. That's just some people are so narrow-minded and stupid. It amazes me. Yeah, good guys can get taken down by good guys too. All right. But Carlos Prates isn't known for his wrestling. He's not known for his grappling. And believe it or not, when you think of Leon Edwards, or when I first think of Leon Edwards, I don't think of his wrestling and his grappling. But as I'm breaking these videos down, this guy took down Kamaru Usman. This guy took
Yes.
down Colby Covington. And I hate Colby. He's probably the only MMA fighter that I hate. Regardless if I hate him or not, he's a great wrestler. And Kamaru Usman, arguably one of the greatest welterweights of all time, great wrestler. Leon Edwards can grapple. And if Leon Edwards is smart, which he is smart, and he's on a 2-fight losing streak, dude, he lost to Bilal and he lost to Sean Brady. Like what? Like you're acting like he's losing. People are acting like he lost to an unranked guy. And when I talk about the 2 losses in a row, it's like, oh, maybe he's losing his step. But as I do more research, and that's why I love doing these breakdowns, because my initial thought usually changes after I do a breakdown video. Um, Now, I think if Prates is smart, he's not going to try to be as dynamic. He's not going to try to spin. He's going to have to, because Leon Edwards has great crisp striking from the southpaw stance, from the orthodox stance. He has great high kicks. They're very fast. And I just think Carlos is going to be a little bit faster than Leon. And I'm really hoping when Carlos comes in that Leon's going to try to put him on his back and slow his fight down, or even hold him up against the fight. Because as much as I don't like a slow paced fight, I'll be fine with Leon Edwards slowing the pace down, putting him up against the fence, taking him down, grinding on him. And because remember, this is only a 3-round fight. He only
Right.
needs to get a couple takedowns. This isn't a 5-round fight. He only needs to get a couple takedowns to secure victory here. And I really hope Leon does. And I look at my last fight a couple weeks ago. It's like my biggest thing is after the fight won, after I got my hand raised and stuff, it's like everyone's, oh man, great fight. And I don't think it was a great fight. I think I slowed the pace down. I made it boring because dude, the guy I fought was a dynamic striker, just like Prates. All right. So me being maybe a hair behind on the striking, I thought that I had to slow the fight down, take him into my world, take him down, put him up against the fence, hold him there, and that's what I had to do to grab it, or to grind out the win. Not the most exciting way, but I got back in the win column, after being 1-1 in my last 2 MMA fights. And I think Leon Edwards being 0-2 in his last 2, I think he needs to take the slow down, grind him out approach, kind of like Bilal would in all his fights, to get back in the win column here.
I'll tell you my thoughts just from a pure fan perspective, and I love the breakdown. And yes, I put a little bit of money on Edwards. I'm just putting like small amounts just for fun because I thought Justin made such a persuasive argument. But let me say this just from a pure fan perspective. This fight is really incredible because if Leon gets the win, he's one away. He's like a title contender shot, and then he's back in title contention, which is really exciting. See somebody turn it around after that adversity is really fun. Alternatively, if Carlos Prates wins, it's like win-win because this guy's personality is amazing. Listen to him in the pressers. He talks a lot of smack. Obviously, his fight style is incredible. He's got some unbelievable knockouts with one quick faltering step against Ian Gary, who might be one of the best welterweights on the planet right now, if not the best. So either way, the fans win, and I love fights like that, and I can't wait to see how it goes down. But yeah, I'm going with you on Edwards because you made a very convincing argument. Now, Justin has 2 minutes, and then he's got to go. Hold on. We got to talk about Bo Nickal before you take off. Let me hear your thoughts. Give us the breakdown.
Bo Nickal and Brandon Vieira, not Rodolfo Vieira.
Yes.
They have similar styles. Bo Nickal's just better. Plain and simple. Rodolfo, his wrestling. I mean, he pulls guard. He has a lazy shot. He throws almost no strikes. I don't think he has any knockouts on his resume. He kind of just he waits for guys to get into their striking. He changes his level and just dives in. Bo Nickal and him have a very similar shot. The big difference is Bo Nickal will throw a big hand. If Bo Nickal's in the southpaw stance, he'll throw a big overhand left to his shot. If he's in the orthodox stance, he'll throw a big overhand right to his shot. Or Rodolfo just dives in for his shots. Bo Nickal is wrestling is 2.0 to Rodolfo. I think this is the UFC giving Bo Nickal a good matchup to get back in the win column. My fear of this matchup is Bo Nickal being afraid of Rodolfo's grappling and going to another boring decision like he did when he fought, who did he fight, Gerald Mercer?
What's his name? Paul Craig. I always forget
Oh,
this guy's name.
Paul Craig.
Yeah, Paul Craig.
So, okay, let me go back to what I said earlier. That's who JDM is training with, Paul Craig. I said in the video Craig Jones, but I meant Paul Craig. I
Okay.
meant Paul Craig. I always get those. But Paul Craig, yeah, it was just a boring matchup because Bo Nickal didn't want to take him down. He didn't want to deal with his grappling. And I'm worried that Bo Nickal's going to be afraid of Rodolfo's grappling because he does have very good grappling off his back. Rodolfo's very comfortable on his back. But in my opinion, I think Bo Nickal needs to take him down, dominate him on top, and look for the finish.
So somebody got really mad in the comments about your discussion of Vieira. They're like, "You're giving him no respect. He's IBJJ champ and all." And look, he's got amazing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu credentials. And I don't think Justin was trying to take anything away from that. But again, this is mixed martial arts. You're looking at the MMA fights. You're looking at the breakdowns of mixing it all together, not just Jiu-Jitsu in isolation. Vieira is a legend in the world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But that's your take after analyzing their MMA fights. Is that fair?
No, he's not a legend. You know why he's not a legend? Because
Mm.
I never heard of him. All right.
Mm.
You know, like, he's a very good grappler. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a bad grappler, but a legend. I mean, you know who's a legend to me? Fucking Vinny Magliez. And you know how he did in the UFC?
Mm.
Terrible. I shouldn't say he did terrible, but he got his ass whooped a bunch of times, and he's one of the best grapplers in the light heavyweight division. You know what happened when Vinny Magliez went to the PFL? He got his ass whipped, and he's a world class. At one point, I believe he was one of the best grapplers in the world. All right, you have Fredson Pashao, one of the best grapplers in the world during his time, got his ass whooped in the UFC. You have geez, I mean, we can just go down the list of all these great grapplers that have gotten their asses whipped. And why hasn't Gordon Ryan made an MMA debut if he's such a great grappler? It's just, and it's more people are like, oh, because of his steroid use, whatever. But regardless, dude, it's wrestlers translate to MMA better than grapplers translate to MMA. Grapplers are too comfortable on their back, and once a wrestler gets on top, they do serious damage. The proof's in the pudding. How many were, and I'm not saying it's never happened, but how many
Yeah.
UFC champions have there been through the years that are IBJJF champions? Not
Hoist
many.
Gracie.
Okay,
It's been a
well, yeah,
while.
it's been a while, but let's say
Yeah.
world champion grapplers. I'm not saying it's never happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a lot more world-class wrestlers that are MMA champions than grapplers.
Fair enough. Well said. I think you explained that perfectly. I know you got to go right to wrestling practice.
Yeah, I'm walking in, but I
All
can
right.
keep talking for a minute.
What great analysis, guys. Let us know your thoughts on all of Justin's great analysis. Oh, Tehran's got Bo as well. Matthew also has Edwards. But yeah, so much fun to hear after Justin done all the breakdowns and the research to really dive in. Because again, this is analysis that I can't do, at least in my opinion, not nearly as well from the fans. Oh, for a second, look at the wrestlers behind. He's about to get to work, teach these guys. Who knows? Maybe we're going to see the next UFC champion in that mix. Okay. Well, Justin, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it. Guys, we are on the precipice of the biggest UFC event of the year. Let's go. And I'm going to finish out the show. I'll finish out the show without Justin, but we're going to talk about some other bangers on this card. All right, Justin, take it easy. Have a great practice, and we will
Appreciate
see
you guys. Have a good night.
next
Thank
Monday.
you.
Take it easy. All right, peace. All right, so now we're going to talk about this other fight, Brady versus Morales. And thank you guys so much for sticking around. We're just going to talk through the rest of these really quickly. I also want to talk about Baisanger as well, if you guys are not familiar with him. But Brady versus Morales, this one is going to be huge too. You know, I'm going to make a video later today about how insane the welterweight division is right now. And not only how insane the welterweight division is, but how much this card is going to impact the welterweight division. I mean, we have multiple fighters competing that could be next in line for the title shot. And then we got Ian Gary waiting in the wings. We got Shavkat waiting in the wings, right? Sean Brady. If Morales gets a crazy finish over Sean Brady, dude, he might shoot to the top. Again, Brady just beat Edwards. If Prates gets a crazy knockout, you never know. So there's so many moving parts, and I love how heavy this fight card is in terms of the welterweight division. Now, if we talk about this matchup in particular, Brady's obviously coming off a great win. I don't know. Justin hasn't broken this one down, but I look at Morales. I look at his age. He's 25. He's super strong. He's 18-0 or 16-0. I can't remember. The guy's record is insane, man. I don't know. I mean, you could see Brady smothering him, I suppose, but I heard MMA Joey's breakdown of it, and I think he hit the nail on the head. I think because of the athleticism of Morales, the explosiveness of Morales, the way he's probably going to be able to shuck off Brady's takedown attempts, at least early on, is going to give him a major edge and a major advantage. And I'd like to see Morales win. Not that I'm anti-Brady, but you always like to see the young, dynamic guys, the super athletic phenoms come up, get these victories, and get these title shots early on. So By the way, I had a funny idea. You know who'd be a great matchup for Islam if he does get the belt? Will be Kobe Covington. Justin was just talking about how much he hated Kobe. Let me know. Let me know if you guys think that would be funny. Another undeserved title shot, and let's see what Kobe can do against Islam. I think it's gonna go pretty bad for Kobe. Teron says, "I'm picking Morales." Yeah, let's go. I think that's the right pick and the right angle. Okay, now we got to talk about Malcolm Wellmaker. Guys, let me know in the comments who heard the Ariel Helwani interview of Malcolm Wellmaker in its entirety. Because if you guys didn't hear it, you guys are missing out. I know even I've been critical of Ariel. People are critical of Ariel for different things. But what you have to understand is when Ariel is in the flow and interviewing somebody like Wellmaker, somebody he has a good relationship with, somebody he likes, nobody does that job better on the planet. Nobody even close does better than Ariel Helwani. That back and forth, the way he navigated that interview, and we got to know everything about Malcolm Wellmaker was incredible. And this guy's got such star potential. The thing that I'll say, and I know we're talking about the last minute change to Ewing. Hopefully I hope it's a layup for Wellmaker because I want to see him win. But there's a couple of things that really worry me about Wellmaker, and I hope I'm wrong because I want to see this guy be successful. I want to see him at the top of the division. I've heard people say that they think he's going to be a contender, but we shall see. So I'll tell you the two things that worry me. Number one, I believe he's only been training mixed martial arts for about 9 years. So obviously that's a testament to his athleticism. He picked it up very quickly while he was a pipe fitter, and he trained like crazy. And obviously he's amazing. His striking is incredible. The right hook is unbelievable. But the part that I get nervous about is the wrestling and the grappling credentials. So he says that he's like, hey, it's great that people think I can't wrestle. I'd love to show it because he's like, I wrestle and grapple all the time, and I know my stuff. I've got a great team around me. So that's the first thing that I'm worried about. I would not be surprised if his opponent tries to take it to the ground just to test, just to see what happens. But that's my first concern. My second concern is that he's talked about how he loves his team so much and he doesn't want to go to any other gym other than where he's at in Atlanta. Now, if I'm not mistaken, what he said about his gym in Atlanta is I believe he's the only UFC fighter at the gym. So he's like kind of the first guy to make it. And the thing that I worry about, and here, I actually want to ask Justin about this, but maybe we can talk about it on Monday. I've seen this happen with fighters in Fusion, at Fusion Fight League, the fight promotion that I commentate for in Montana. And I've seen that some of the fighters, they're the best in their gym. And they've told me, oh, Kerry Constantine says, hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the stream. So I've seen fighters that they've come and talked to me and they'd be like, man, I lost that last fight. Yes, I'm the top of my gym, but I need to go somewhere else. And then what do? They link up with Justin. They go down and train at Extreme Couture for a few weeks, train with pros, train with other people that level them up. So I've seen that before. I know fighters seek that out as a way to continue improving. And that's what worried me when he said that he's like, nah, I got everything I need here. I got people that care about me, which is all probably true. But me personally, from what I've seen and what I've heard from other fighters at Fusion, from what I've heard from Justin, I would like to see Wellmaker just do some rounds, just do some weeks at different gyms like Extreme Couture, these elite gyms, and just to get some new looks and some new competition. That's the only thing that worries me when I heard that in the interview, but I could be wrong. Anyways, dude, if he gets the knockout, though, if he gets a right hook in the first round, that's 4 in a row. 4 in a row, same finish, same timing. That would be absolutely unbelievable. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow, but I'm thinking it's going to be good. This is a fight card where the prelims are so dang stacked, it's out of control. So I'll be watching, hopefully, right from the jump and watch it all the way through. Now, another fighter that didn't make the list here is Baisanger. Hold on, I'm going to actually create a little banner here. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Let's see here. Baisanger, boom, is fighting tomorrow. Hold on, I put it up. I should have checked it first. Let me see if I got that spelling right. Yeah, I spelled it right. Let's go. Baisanger Surkayov. Now, this guy is on the prelims tomorrow. This guy is somebody that you guys should be keeping your eye on because, first of all, he just fought not once, but twice within a week in August, right? He fought, I believe, August, I want to say 14th for the Contender Series, and then 5 days later, August 19th August 6th, excuse me, I got that backwards. August 12th, and then he fought August 16th at UFC 319 on the undercard for Khamzat Chimaev's title championship. Now, the cool thing about that him and Khamzat train together. Khamzat speaks very highly of him. And obviously you're going to do that for training partners, but I think there's a lot of heat and a lot of hype behind this guy. So look for this guy. I believe he's so well-rounded. This dude's an animal. I believe he's going to get an early finish, round 1, round 2. And it's exciting to see somebody fighting this frequently. This would be 3 fights from August till November. That's crazy. 3 fights in 3 months. Like, we got a new Khamzat Chimaev in terms of activity. So very, very exciting. I cannot wait to see this guy show up again and do his thing. Last but not least, so by the way, that's UFC 322. Man, oh man. I think that this card is a 10 out of 10. I can't really fault it for anything. So I am at max excitement level. And the beauty of it is, too, the prelims are so stacked. I mean, I don't think, in my opinion, obviously we saw 300 the prelims be more stacked with known names. But this is actually honestly stacked almost in a better way, because we have all these huge prospects. I mean, Bo Nickal, Wellmaker, and Baisanger all on the prelims. These guys are all potential superstars. So from my vantage point, and I like that. I like seeing the young up-and-coming guys. I like seeing these guys with incredible star potential do their thing. So, yeah, I love the prelims. Oh, the last other thing that bums me out about Wellmaker is I think he's 31. So he doesn't have the longest window, but he's trying to be active. He's trying to be in there. So hopefully if he can make some waves in the bantamweight division quickly, that'd be really, really cool. He said he wants to fight Merab too, by the way. So he's trying to get up to the top very quickly and make that matchup happen. All right. Last little piece of news before we jump off. Jake Paul might be fighting Anthony Joshua. And I know this is an MMA news, this is boxing news, but we got to talk about it because I've been a fan of Jake Paul on this entire ride. You guys can get mad at me if you want. I'll tell you why real quick. I'm a fan of Jake Paul. I did make a video about this earlier in the week. Not a lot of people watched it. I don't think a lot of people have a lot of love for Jake Paul. But the way I look at Jake Paul is he's a fan like me who started training, fighting, and combat sports later in life. He chose boxing. I chose Muay Thai. And he got so into it that he decided he wanted to start taking matches, which I have the utmost respect for, because for me, even with all the Muay Thai training I've done over the last 6 years, I don't have the balls to jump in there and take a fight, do a smoker, even like a heavy sparring match, because I worry too much about my cognitive abilities. I use those in my business on a daily basis. I use them for the show. I use them for my YouTube channels. And it's a scary endeavor to go in there and actually see what you got against somebody and take that head trauma and head damage. Now, he's then gone in to become a professional boxer. People want to ridicule him for the matchups he's taken, but he has actually fought 3 actual boxers and then some crazy MMA competition. The other thing that I'll say too, when people criticize him for fighting guys like Tyron Woodley, let me say this for those of you guys who don't train at all and are criticizing him. Go into an MMA gym, any MMA gym, ask a MMA coach to do a boxing sparring match. I've done boxing sparring with my MMA coach. He still jacks me up. Okay. So it's not an easy endeavor for somebody off the streets. Now, a professional boxer, that's different, once you get to that level, but this guy was fighting MMA fighters as he was on the come up at just a few years into training. So to me, I mean, I think it's phenomenal what he's doing. And I think it's an inspiring story from the vantage point if you just look at him as a fan, not as anything else. Okay. So now here we are. He got a lot of heat again for fighting Tank Davis. I was still curious in that fight. Wasn't going berserk over it, but I was curious about it. If this fight actually gets made, I do think Jake Paul will lose, but I think you have to respect anybody who doesn't respect him at this point. You've got nothing left to say. He's now going from people say, fight a boxer, fight a boxer. First of all, why? He can do whatever he wants if he's making money and he's selling the buys and getting people to watch and it's interesting, right? Do what you want. If you don't like it, don't watch it. But now he's not only just fighting Francis Ngannou, which would have been crazy. I actually think Jake Paul would have beaten Ngannou. He's fighting Anthony Joshua, who smashed Ngannou, who probably has a good shot of beating Tyson Fury and some of these other high-level boxers. Anthony Joshua is one of the best heavyweight boxers in the world. Jake Paul's been boxing for what, like 7 years, 6 years? I don't even know. So this is so absolutely exciting for him to fight somebody who knocked out cold a huge juggernaut like Francis Ngannou. And Jake Paul's going to take the challenge. You people have nothing to say here. And if he does get knocked out, I mean, he still will have my absolute respect. And I believe he deserves all of your respect as well if he gets in there and goes toe-to-toe and tries to fight Anthony Joshua. Now, if he beats Anthony Joshua, the world is going to blow up. Like, it's going to be it's going to be the craziest outcome of all time. People are going to go absolutely mental. The Jake Paul haters will literally be speechless for like days. It will be glorious. I think that would be incredible. I don't see it happening. And that's not to knock Jake Paul. It's just, dude, who can beat Anthony Joshua? I mean, very, very few people on the planet. So anyways, it is what it is. We're going to close out with this story, but we got a lot of interesting news and announcements. Now, like I said, I'm going to make a video later today about the welterweight division and how stacked it is in the UFC and how exciting it is to see what's going to happen on this card and beyond. We got Ian Gary with a fresh matchup coming up soon as well. So we got a lot of interesting moving parts and pieces, and we're going to see what happens. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that Justin is wrong and that he's wrong about JDM beating Islam, and Islam comes away as the double champ, because we'll be at a true historic moment for the UFC in the world of mixed martial arts. So that's what I'm hoping. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining. If you could like the stream, if you're still on and you're still watching and you're still enjoying, I'd really appreciate it. Once again, Matthew, Carrie, Tehran, thank you, everybody, for joining today. It's a blast. And by the way, if you guys really dislike this dual setup, we're just going to go back to the horizontal setup. I just thought I wanted to try it one more time and see how it went. But thank you guys so much for joining. Click that like button, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take it easy.